My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of K-Pop Demon Hunters. And shit, this is really embarrassing. So let me tell you a story. It was Friday night, and at about 11 p.m., I decided to put on this movie. And I was very tired at the time, and even though I was liking the movie, I was struggling to stay awake. So I turned it off at about midnight, and I finished it Saturday morning, and I then reviewed it. And I gave it a 6.5. I said it was fine, it looked great. Some of the songs didn't work for me, but the script felt like a forced draft. That was my first review of this movie. But I found myself listening to the soundtrack all day Saturday, and I kept thinking about this movie. And I woke up Sunday and I kept thinking about this movie. So I rewatched it in the afternoon, and my opinion just skyrocketed. I was just like, what was I thinking? I love this. This movie is perfect. This movie is a masterpiece. And it doesn't stop there because Sunday night I watched it for a third time with my brother. I don't believe I have ever watched a movie 3 times in one weekend before. This was a first for me, but rightfully so. I've now sat with this movie for a few days, and I'm going to say it. Not only is this a top 10 animated movie of all time, not only is it the best movie of 2025, not only is it the best Netflix movie, I think it's in my top 20 favorites ever. Like, I am so in love with this movie, and my first review, I got it wrong. So let's begin by talking about the cast. And Auden Chow as Rami is truly terrific. She carries this movie so incredibly well, but she also brings so much depth to her character. There is real humanity on display, and the more you find out about her, the more interesting she becomes, and she just sells you on everything. Auden Chow's performance is my favorite of 2025 so far. And EJ, who does her singing voice, does a really terrific job as well. We then got Hyo-seop as Gina, who is great. He's charming and likable and cool, but you do find out more about him, and it turns out this is a character with a lot of depth, and he just brought this character to life so perfectly. When he's evil and does wrong things, it's frustrating because you know that's not who he has to be. And Andrew Chow does his singing voice and does a great job as well. And I thought the romance between these two characters was so well done because it's about what they're adding to each other's life. And it was very smartly written, and they do have great chemistry. Mei Hong plays Mira, who is a really great side character. She has lots of personality and she can be hilarious. And Audrey Nunn does her singing voice and she does a great job as well. Ji Young Yu plays Zoe, who is very eager to please people. She has this manic energy, but she is so well written and the performance here is really great. And why Amy does her singing voice, and she also does a great job. Yoonjin Kim plays Celine, who we don't see often in the movie, but you still feel her presence and the things she has said and the lessons she has passed down. And I thought this was a really great performance despite the minimal screen time. Daniel Day Kim plays this one doctor character who eyes get so big and it allows it so he can see someone's true character, and it's just such a great visual gag, but I thought he was really funny. Ken Jeong as Bobby brings plenty of personality to his character, and Byung-hun Lee is very menacing as a villain, despite not having too much of a physical presence. So, all the characters are incredibly well written, and all the performances are top fucking notch. And I love how the first 10-15 minutes of this movie are excellent. Really stylized, really fun, really goofy. But there's a point, really early on, where you find something out and it recontextualizes the beginning of the movie and it adds so much depth, and from that point on, you're just locked in. Like, it gets a lot heavier and a lot more emotional than you might expect, and this movie truly affected me at points. It can be heartbreaking and it can be very powerful. I love how this movie explores shame and guilt and intrusive thoughts. There's also an element of this movie of embracing yourself, embracing your heritage, and I love how this movie looks at the importance of hope and trying to do the best you can, and I love how it's about how music can bring us together, and there is so much going on in this movie, but it's so thematically rich and it's only 85 minutes. Just so impressive, and I also love how funny this movie can be. Like, I laughed plenty of times. There's this running gag of how the characters just really want to sit on the couch. So they're like, couch, couch, couch. And it's funny. It's great. It's relatable. I also like how there's this competition between the Huntrix and the Saja boys. And there's one scene where they're like, it's all honor. No, it's all honor. And no, it's all honor. I know if you haven't seen the movie, that made zero sense. But if you have seen the movie, you know exactly what joke I'm talking about. I like how goofy and absurd this movie can be. It's very exaggerated in the best possible way, and it moves so quickly. Like, I've watched it 3 times now, and each viewing I pick up on more and more jokes and more of the substance of the story. And I also love how badass this movie is. The movie is filled with terrific action set pieces, and the camera work is dynamic and it's fun and tense at times, and it's just so well done. But the animation for this movie is unbelievable. Like, this movie is one of the best looking movies I have ever seen. It does combine 2D and 3D animation, but there's also a bit more of anime-like expressions, and the movie still feels fresh and new throughout. And I love how they use the animation as visual gags at times. I think the movie has some truly, like, breathtaking, detailed costume work. Like, it blows my mind how good the costumes in this movie look. I love how bright and colorful it can be. I love the character designs and how you're able to get truly invested in their story. And one thing that people are not talking enough about is the amount of crowds in this movie. Like, I'm not an animator, but it is freaking difficult to animate crowds. There's so many characters and so many people in so much of this movie that it just blows my mind. It truly does. And you can tell by the title, K-pop, that this movie is based in Korean culture, and in that regard, it is very culturally rich. You can feel just how personal this movie is at points, and I thought the world building was just excellent. Like the weapons that the main characters use, the demons and the backstories that we get, and how the fans tie into the story. It's just a really well thought out movie, and I can't believe I ever criticized the script. I'm just baffled by that past version of myself. And let's talk about the soundtrack, because on the first listen, Golden really stuck out with me. But now I'm a pretty big fan of every song on this soundtrack. Like, it is just no skips, bango after bango. How it's done just got this energy. It kind of reminds me of Renegade from Arcane Season 2, but it still feels like its own fresh thing. And I liked how that entire scene starts off as an airplane fight and transitions into a concert, and it just captures this energy that's unbelievable. And I also love how during this segment, the action is synchronized with the song. We thank our Golden, which I'll say it now, it's the song of summer 2025. This song has been on repeat for the past few days, and it's just unbelievably good. Soda Pop, I hated the first time I watched this movie, but kind of like the characters. It's grown on me. I kind of like it. It's catchy. It's fun. Not my favorite, probably my least favorite, but still good. Takedown is a great song. It has this fierce energy to it, which I love, but the lyrics and how this ties into the story it's so well done. It's so well done. Like, I don't want to give anything away because you probably haven't seen this movie, but it's so well done. Free is a really beautiful, emotional, heartfelt song, which I loved. Your Idol is underrated. It just has this unique vibe to it. Like, it has a menacing aura, and I really dug the sound of it. And what it sounds like is the big climatic song at the end, and it captures every emotion it's supposed to. The build-up, the payoff, these characters coming together, just a work of art. So I just love this movie so very much, and it's made me think of a few things. Number one is I totally see this movie becoming a franchise. There is so much potential here, and I can't wait for the sequel whenever it comes out, because it's gotta happen. It's gotta. I think this movie is incredibly well directed, so kudos to Maggie King and Chris Applehans. And I think it's a shame this movie is on Netflix, because lots of people don't know about it. This is a movie that demands to be seen on the biggest screen, and I really want to own this movie on 4K. I hope it can happen one day, but this movie deserved better than Netflix. And also, like, Sony Pictures Animation, like, they've come a long way from Open Season and Hotel Transylvania. Like, we've got the Spider-Verse movies now, we've got Arthur Christmas, Pirates Band of Misfits, Clyde the Chance of Meatballs, Mitchells and the Machines, Wish Dragon. I said Spider-Verse, right? Well, Spider-Verse again. And now this movie. Like, This came out on the same weekend as Elio, and Elio is a bland generic Pixar movie, while Sony is actively trying new and exciting things. And I always talk about how Arcane is one of my favorite pieces of media ever, and so are the Spider-Verse movies. And I love how this movie realized what works about them with the animation and the soundtrack, but it still feels like its own thing entirely. It really does. I have so much love and passion for this movie. I've watched it 3 times. I'm probably going to watch it 3 more times in the next week. I love it. I truly think it's one of the best movies ever made. So it's on Netflix. Please watch it. So I'm giving K-Pop Demon Hunter a 9 out of 10. This is one that could get to 10 out of 10 in time. Yeah, I'm blown away. Like the animation, the story, the characters, the emotion, the soundtrack. This is why I love movies. So, yeah. I can't believe, I don't know if I should keep my first review or not, because I'm kind of embarrassed of it, to be honest. But this movie is a masterpiece. But have you seen K-Pop Demon Hunters? Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more videos soon. And Gavin out.